So, ladies and gentlemen, fanboys and girls, nerds, weeds, and otaku, welcome back and welcome home.
Well, hello there, Applebites. This is your Applebite Written Writ Ralph talking to you straight from our show here, The Written Writ. And we are about to get creative, have fun, and talk about a plethora of things. To my right or left or right, which he's on one of these sides, is Daniel Roebuck. And he will be talking about all the beautiful things that he does. And I have to say, right off the bat, dude, you have like the most Christmas cheer I've seen anybody have in a long time.
There's been a lot of Christmas lately.
Exactly. It's like what, three Santa Claus rolls?
Yes,
roll.
Santa and Scrooge, yes. We started with Terrifier 3, in which I realized I played the unluckiest of Santa's helpers. People say, does he kill you? And I say, well, he ends up in my costume and he didn't ask politely. Let's just say that. And then we have St. Nick of Bethlehem, which is an independent movie I made with Spencer Fulmar. It's a beautiful family movie that's doing very well, where it's in theaters now. And Saturday, my Santa hat trick is I'm playing Santa on Svengoolie.
Svengoolie, love Svengoolie.
What a great human being, and what a great opportunity. And then, as if that's not enough, I'm playing Ebenezer Scrooge here in Mount Airy, North Carolina. Why that's important? Dan, why would you go to Mount Airy to do Scrooge? That's a very good question. The reason is because I was on Matlock for 3 of the best years of my life. I stood next to Andy Griffith and did drama and comedy and had a great time. And this is his hometown where I'm talking to you from. If I had a good enough arm, I could throw behind me 2 blocks. I would hit his house.
Nice.
Where he grew up. And I perform on the stage he performed on, and I make up next to various pictures and newspaper
following the footsteps. Oh my God, it's like following the footsteps.
Yeah, I'm standing where he stood, and I'm blessed to be there. So that's my Christmas. It's not really done because here's my weekend. Friday I do the last show. Saturday I'm on Svengoolie, and Sunday we have one last premiere of St. Nick of Bethlehem in one of the communities we shot it in.
Nice.
So
Andrew's already like, oh my God, it's Daniel Roebuck.
Hello, Andrew Rodriguez. How lovely of you to be excited, unless I owe you money.
That's always a bad thing when they find us,
Yeah.
I gotta say though, like making an indie film is not easy, and I can see your names all over this thing. So I know that you must have like really put a lot of your self and your bucks into this. So how were you able to pull that off? Because like I said, I've had some experience making indie films, and it's not easy.
It's not easy. Well, I surround myself with a fantastic team. I start with the woman who's actually here to my right, but usually working hand in hand with me, Daniel Roebuck, who is my producing partner. St. Nick of Bethlehem was unique. Now, I've directed 5 films, and St. Nick I directed with Spencer Fulmar, and we co-wrote it and co-produced it. He had the story. So for your audience who's listening, primarily for you, Mr. Rodriguez, because you're the only one we know is there right now. So St. Nick is about a man who tragically loses his son, and it sends him into a depressive state of mind.
Right.
And he kind of detaches from reality to some extent. And they start mistaking him for Santa Claus because he's let himself go to the point where his beard is long, his hair is white, put on a little weight, and he wears red. So he finds that by adopting the personality of Santa Claus, the more he gives away gifts, the more he gives away his grief and starts coming to terms with the terrible thing that happened in his life. And it's, in the meantime, it's based on a true story. The guy falls back in love with his high school sweetheart. And we took a story that was set in the middle of Pennsylvania in reality, and we moved it to my hometown of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Because where do you want to see a Christmas movie? Well, of course, from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Exactly, because you're like, oh, wait, it already has the name in there. Come on.
Right.
I gotta say, like you're explaining all this, and when I was watching the trailer, I actually was able to get all that, and at the same time, I didn't feel like because you know how trailers are now, they give everything away, but I didn't feel like everything was given away to me. I felt like, I gotta watch this.
Yeah. Making a trailer is quite that's quite an art form. There's a lot of people make a lot of money making trailers. None of them we could afford. So I have a genius wife who makes my trailers with me. You gotta just wet the beak, and with the hopes that they'll come see the movie.
Right.
And what's been interesting about St. Nick of Bethlehem, same with Terrifier 3, a completely different kind of movie, but people come to see St. Nick of Bethlehem 2 and 3 times. They keep coming back, and that's not just in Bethlehem and other states that it's playing. Mm-hmm. People are coming in more than one time to experience the movie. Now, the last time I had an experience like that at Christmas was when A Christmas Story came out, and my best pal, Scotty, said, they made a movie about you and your father. I don't know how they found out who you were. He said they just said it in the 1940s, so they don't have to pay you. So I went to see that movie, set in the 30s, actually, 38. And he took me the next day, and I took my father the next day.
Nice.
And so, you just wanted to see it again and again because everything in it was perfect. And hopefully we've made a movie like that people will look forward to seeing year after year.
I gotta say, one of my favorite things to do, especially during Christmas, is when they do a 24-hour marathon. That thing just plays all day there, and it's funny because you don't get tired of it, like you're saying. No. Yeah, you don't. You
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're watching it. That's my Christmas. My Christmas, no matter where I am on Christmas Day, we watch that movie. This time we might be watching it on an airplane for all I know, because we're traveling Christmas Day because we're so busy. But that's what I do on Christmas Day. I watch Christmas Story no matter what.
Same thing here. It used to be It's a Wonderful Life. But then the TV stopped. First, it was showing it all the time, everywhere. You couldn't get away from it. And then they stopped showing it at all. And I was like, hell, man, pick a side.
Yeah. Well, It's a Wonderful Life. You have to search it out. It's an interesting phenomenon because It's a Wonderful Life was not well received when it came out. I don't know that Christmas Story was well received either by everyone. It was because he had just made Porky's and maybe did Turk 182 before Christmas Story or after. I don't remember. Bob Clark I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know.
But as far as I can tell, Christmas Story is perfect. As far as I can tell,
it is. It's pretty good. Per chance, did you get a chance to see the sequel they made 2 years ago? Yeah.
I did. Scotty Schwartz is a buddy of mine, so I was excited, and I was really grateful to see all those characters grow up.
Exactly.
If we're having an honest conversation, I knew the old man couldn't be there, of course, because McGavin had gone to Jesus,
Right.
and Melinda Dillon didn't want to be in it, so
Right.
they recast Julie Haggerty, which is really great.
It was really good. I would have to say that was a great casting.
Yeah,
You know, for a minute there, I thought it was her, and I was like, no, it's not her.
it's really, but that was great. What I didn't get, I just didn't get. This modern revisionism, where why couldn't Ralph? I know we had to get to the end of the story, but why couldn't he be the kid that we watched grow up? Why couldn't he be a successful writer? And I think this is we talk about pop culture, right? Why in Star Wars did Han Solo and Princess Leia have to be divorced? And how is it a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, they had divorce lawyers that they had to share custody of Kylo Ren? Like, when you think about it, but I just thought, and I like J.J. Abrams, obviously,
Right.
He's good to me.
Mhm.
But if you said, Dan, I just thought it's cheap. It's like, it's okay for Han Solo. If Han Solo and Princess Leia can't keep it together, how's anybody supposed to keep it together?
But I've had this discussion a couple of times because I'm pissed. I'm always pissed off with it when it comes to this, because instead of giving the people what they wanted, which was to see them together one last time, then you can move on to whatever story you want to say. Just put them together one last time, and then you can start with the whole other stuff. But I feel like they wanted to disrespect the old. They wanted to poo-poo on it, so they can get rid of it. And I'm like, no, just respect it. As a storyteller, you respect it, you move on, you give them a nice ending, and then you keep the story going forward. You don't want to do a story about them, then just give them a good ending and get them out the way and move with the new people. But I feel like they wanted to just like poo-poo on it. It's like, oh, we don't care about your generation.
Yeah, it just seemed weird. Also, it seemed because those of us who watch Star Wars, we didn't grow up in a world where people were divorced. My parents got divorced a number of years after that.
Mm-hmm.
I was 30, I think, and 32. My brother called me. He said, "Who are you going to live with, mom or dad?" But you know what I mean? We didn't grow up in a world with divorced parents. So why was a modern ideology put? To me, the best of all those new Star Wars movies was the one in the middle. Rogue One, because
Rogue One was great,
because it was Star Wars.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
But see, that proves my point. They could have done their own thing, just like they did with Rogue One, and not disrespect anybody.
Yes, it's very odd. Do you know what I say? Could I talk to you about Rogue One for a second?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Here's what I think. What Hollywood doesn't get. So Rogue One is kind of like going to Star Wars Land at Disneyland or Disney World. By the way, it's perfect. But what Rogue One had to do to make it look like it happened right before Star Wars is they had to put all the handrails back in the spaceships.
Exactly.
Now, why is there handrails in Star Wars? Because David Prowse was 6'9", and like they're fighting.
Exactly.
And they didn't want him to fall off the thing. So there were, just like in any building anywhere.
Yeah.
All right. So I put everything onto those guardrails because they made it look like Star Wars. When they made the new Star Wars, they have a walkway that looks like it's about 1.5 miles long, and it has no handrails on it. Now, there's no force keeping you there because Han Solo falls off it. And the minute you're on it, Han Solo is going to fall off it.
Exactly.
Because you're not an idiot. Now, I want you to think this is, I've thought about this way too much. If the empires like the Nazis, which is exactly what they were when they were conceptualized by George Lucas. Mm-hmm. Years later, he tried to reframe it and say it was the Reagan and the right wing that he was basing that on. Well, that's, of course, horse shit. I'm sorry, I wasn't supposed to go. But
I think I cursed already.
Reagan wasn't president yet. You know,
Right.
when Star Wars came out.
I was going to say, I was going back in time in my head, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, Jimmy Carter. So anyway, so if the empires like the Nazis, you know, 4 years before they went into Poland, they already had established how they were going to govern Poland. They like creating government so much. So you're telling me that in this world, a long time ago, far, far away, they still have divorce lawyers. People, even queens can get divorced. You know, rulers of worlds can get divorced. They don't have an OSHA component that would say you cannot have a 4-foot-mile walkway here where two people can't pass without handrails. This brings me back to my original point. That's why the other movie's so good.
That is funny though.
Handrails, and it's dirty and it's grimy. Just like when you go to Star Wars Land, I'm sure it drove them crazy. They had to like dirty it up to make it look like Star Wars. And then we're in the new 3 movies, and there's that Emperor Snork or whatever his name is, and inexplicably he's on a spaceship, and there's a 40-foot red curtain above him, and on a spaceship, and nobody goes, well, I don't know that we need the big red curtain, you know, because, you know, we're a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. We could probably project anything we want on the background there because we can make holograms.
Yep.
So why do we have to have curtains? You know what I mean? It just doesn't make. They only want a curtain so the curtains could burn when he died. But it doesn't make any sense because why would the guy have curtains in a spaceship? And why wouldn't they be floating around? Like, anyway. So that's why Rogue One is great. And that's why, getting back, thank you, an absence of belief in magic.
Yeah, I agree.
That's why Saint Nick of Bethlehem, I promise you, is well. Thanks, Yumi. That's why I promise you it's well written. That's the EU into the trash bin. You're talking, that's political? EU is what? Is the European Union? I don't know that the Empire did that. I don't think we can blame I don't think we can actually blame that on Palpatine. I think we might have to blame that on someone a little more recent. But
that's funny because
Bethlehem is
extended universe.
Thank you, me. Yes, thank you. We knew it. But that's why Saint Nick of Bethlehem will entertain you because it looks like an old-fashioned movie. There, I'm done making my point. And I promise you, if you watch Saint Nick of Bethlehem, you will see rails on the side of stairways.
Well, let's do this. We'll show to the people the trailer that you have here, so they can figure it out for themselves.
Perfect. Thank you.
Nick McNulty is struggling.
Oh, I need this. I don't have one of these.
Mom, please put it back. With his mother.
I'm scared you're going to end up alone the rest of your life.
I'm not alone. I'm with you.
Well, maybe I would like to end up alone the rest of my life.
With the ladies.
Beautiful.
Oh, Dolores is your name? Did you know in Spanish it means pain and sorrow?
That's awful.
No, awful is Greek. In Greek it means grief.
And time to go.
With his brother.
You're late. I'm not late. You're late.
And with himself.
I just thought I'd come in here and you could cheer me up.
This can't be normal.
Betty, I wish there was one right answer when it comes to grief. And believe me, I'm just as concerned as you are.
I cry myself to sleep almost every night. So does he.
He just needs to find purpose, and then he'll find peace. Sometimes the world is just so awful. And it seems like something as joyful as Santa Claus couldn't possibly exist at the same time.
All of that will change this Christmas.
I never thought I would see you again.
Well, I never thought I'd be here again.
In a new holiday classic set in America's Christmas city.
Oh, for the love of Pete, where have you been?
I went for a run, and I tripped, and I fell.
Oh, Mickey, you could have froze out there.
But I didn't. It was because, Mother, I was woken up by an honest-to-goodness reindeer.
Sweetie, we really don't have any reindeers here in Pennsylvania.
We have at least one.
You really haven't changed at all.
Santa! I thought you'd forget about me. They told me I couldn't go home for Christmas.
Julie, I would never forget about you. You're one of my precious children. That was the first time I really felt like myself in a very, very long time. I couldn't have done that without you. Merry Christmas!
Saint Nick of Bethlehem, coming this holiday season.
Merry Christmas, everybody!
That's just beautiful. I've watched it now a couple of times, and it kind of reminds me of those classic Christmas movies. You know, like you were saying, the ones where you watch them over and over during Christmas time.
Yeah, it's not a Hallmark movie. It's so funny. I'm at the point where in my career, if someone says, "Man, you make those are your movie, it should be on the Hallmark Channel," I'm like, "Come on, let's go. We're going out back. Come
Going
on,
outside. We're gonna have an old Saint Nick ruckus.
Yeah. You know, my God, I hope that our plots are not contrived. There's romance, but nobody's gorgeous. You know, nobody's gorgeous. And this was interesting, kind of a callback to they made a movie called The Miracle of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania for the Hallmark Channel.
All right.
And in there, and I like Hallmark. I like what they do. I don't think I do what they do.
Mm-hmm.
I would happily be in a Hallmark movie. I'm not offended by Hallmark. I'm just saying, you know, I spend a long time writing these scripts, and they're very well plotted out.
But you're right; it doesn't have a Hallmark feel to it.
No,
it doesn't.
The Hallmark movie, Miracle of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, they shot in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Now, I don't know if you know a lot about Manitoba, but it's not in Pennsylvania. It's not even in America. It's in a whole nother country called Canada. So, you know, we kind of thought this would be the perfect and humorous answer to that. You know,
it's so funny. I was actually watching a video before, like a little bit before we got on, and they were making fun of Hallmark movies and their formula, and I was like, and none of them are shot in America. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, you know, it's just too. I mean, that's kind of one of the things I love. And you're an independent filmmaker. We make our movies entirely in America. You know, and we don't. All the effects are done, the music, everything. The last film we went to Budapest to get some of the score recorded, and that is simply because, unfortunately, at the level we work, despite the great talents of American orchestras, there's simply no way to get the musicians. You can't afford it. You just can't afford it. So you have to go off. You have to go off continent to find musicians that their job is to record for you.
It's the same thing with you know, we do a lot of comic stuff here. It's the same thing now where a lot of the indie guys they're going out of country to find the artists out there, so so they can get their stuff done, because you know it's a little cheaper.
You know, but these guys now aren't like James Warren, who, if you're a fan of, Famous Monsters, Creepy Eerie, he's a very smart guy, but he was getting artists from Spain and South America, because they, I think, were only paying back in the 70s $10 a finished page.
Yeah, it was way. It's cheap now, but it was way cheaper.
Yeah. Well, you know, the great artist Basil Gogos, who's gone also to Jesus, whether he believes him or not, I don't know, but that's the term I use. Basil, you know, I did these interstitial. I've done a lot of different things in my life because I just love working. And Monsters HD hired me to do this interstitial programming for their new HD channel. Right. And I worked with Kevin Burns, who's a great biographer. And if people watch Ancient Aliens, or if they watch what Tammy, what is Oak Island, Mystery at Oak Island. Those are all Kevin created shows.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I did this work for Kevin Burns, who's also gone to Jesus. Anyway, so Basil Gogos tells me, and this is a very good impression of Basil Gogos. I said, how long did it take you to paint the painting? He goes, Jim Warren only paid me $250 a cover. So I didn't never work more than 2 hours, 3 hours on it. Okay. So then in the same conversation, he goes, he ripped me off. He goes, those paintings sell for $27,000. And I can tell you in 1963, when he painted for 2 or 3 hours and made $250, the guy who's my hero, John Roebuck, my father, in 1963, the year I was born, was digging ditches for the city of Bethlehem for $39 a week. 39, 3, 5, 6. 6 weeks of digging ditches, 5 weeks of digging ditches in the cold in Pennsylvania. And he made $250. And somehow in Basil Gogos' brain, he was ripped off for the paintings when he was living like a sultan at the time that he was doing it.
Yummy says, all right, I need to head to bed, but it was an honor to say hi to you, Mr. Roebuck.
All right. Good night. Thank you for following along.
It's funny because and then at the same time when people go, oh, your guys are ripping them off, but no, the rate of exchange from American money to they're probably from what I know, usually they're getting a better pay from us than they do from their own country.
Yeah, I don't. By the way, the politics of that, you could argue it 1,000 ways. Anytime an artist is paid to create art is a blessing to the artist.
Yeah,
plain and simple. I don't need anybody's political opinion of that. Believe me, if the artist takes the job, they're happy to have the job. You know it as a filmmaker. I know it, and I have because just making movies isn't enough. I needed to have another way to lose my hard-earned money. So I also have a great business that I do with my buddy Pete Bregman, and we had my other buddy Brent Sorensen was part of it for a while. And we do licensed Rob Zombie products, Bela Lugosi products, Ron Chaney products, and the artists have to be paid. We pay artists to sculpt, we pay artists to draw, we pay artists to paint. Like, we're creating work for artists.
Exactly.
That's a blessing for us, the company, but and a blessing for an artist. Anytime an artist is paid is good.
It is. It's really good. And and being in the industry, we really completely understand that they need to get paid.
Well, I mean, to I'm sure your detriment and mine, I'm the last one who gets paid. And
that's the way it works.
On the movies that Tammy and I make through our not-for-profit, we have a not-for-profit called A Channel of Peace, and I invite people, please, go to achannelofpeace.org if you'd like to see the work we do. We make faith-filled family entertainment, and that doesn't mean it's Jesus, Jesus, Jesus movies. It means it's a movie where a character in the movie has a struggle, and through a relationship with a higher power, often it's solved. Okay, and but it's never. That's not my style. My DNA is not that. I leave preaching to the preachers. I'm a filmmaker, and we have filmmakers who are dedicated to promoting the opposite of that. We have filmmakers who want you to think God doesn't exist, and we have filmmakers who want you to ignore, thousands of years of great society and base everything on the 7 stupid things the Catholic Church did, the 6 stupid things these people did, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Whoever they want.
But so I'm just making my own movies. But I don't take any money to write, produce, direct, star. I'm a movie star. I could make a lot of money starring in movies.
Exactly.
And when I'm starring in my own movie, I'm unavailable to other people. But I wouldn't change anything.
takes money out of your own pocket. That's why these things are labors of love. Yeah. I gotta say, dude, you look unrecognizable in this. You know, I'm looking at it going, I see Santa Claus.
Oh, isn't that nice? You know, a lot of people have said that. They've said from now on, whenever I think of Santa Claus, I'm thinking of that face.
Exactly.
And I'll tell you, I love doing it. I love doing
You
it.
can see it in the film itself. I tell people all the time, if you want to see people do stuff and they're passionate about it, you can see it in their work. Same thing with when they're not passionate about it or they're just earning a buck. You can see it in their work.
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate. Like people are all, you know, the only people I ever see who are lazy on a movie set are the actors. They don't know their lines. They're not prepared. They're, you know, uninformed. They don't come on time. They spend too long in makeup without any respect for anybody else. Everybody else on the movie set is ready to work. Not on my movies. I'm not an idiot. I handpick my actors, and they, you know, they're friends, and you know, and I hire people I don't know, and sometimes that is a problem because I spend more time trying to explain things. It's so much easier, you know, as a professional guy. You know, we did a movie once or a TV show. Uh, what was it? The child molester one?
Oh, Criminal Minds.
Criminal Mind. I've been in a lot of TV shows, so I keep Tammy here to keep me.
It's good you have somebody to remind you of stuff.
Yeah.
I wish I had somebody.
Should I kill that guy today? Should I kill that guy today? No. Okay. Jiminy Cricket said no. So I'm doing this Criminal Minds, and I'm playing Ralph, horrible. Like they just offered me the role, and I thought, you know, well, I must be a pretty talented guy when they just call me up and offer me these parts. And then I'm reading it horrified. I'm not just a child molester. No, that's not enough for Criminal Minds.
Of course not. They go above and beyond.
Who impregnates the children that I steal with my own babies so that I can have other children to molest, and I don't. It's insanity.
Wow.
So it's hard.
The sad thing is that those are based on true stories.
Oh, even worse. You know what I mean? Even worse. So I'm doing this scene where I've got some girls locked up in a house. Nobody knows where they are. They catch me, and I won't, unless they let me say goodbye to the girl they caught me with, I'm not going to tell them where the other girls are, and they're going to die. And so they decide they're going to let me do it. So I have to do this scene with this girl where I tell her I love her and don't listen to what they say. And I do the whole scene, cut. My wife was on the set that day. She's sitting next to the director. It's a female director comes over. She was terrific. And she says, oh. I go, what's the matter? She goes, oh, it was great. I mean, it was really great. But, you know, the problem is, and I had this epiphany. I was like, oh, wait, I'm not supposed to be sympathetic. I played it so authentically sympathetic. But you have to be a professional actor. And I said, I know what you're trying to say. Earn the bullet. Because the next scene, I was coming around a corner, and the mother of one of the girls I did this to shoots me point blank like Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah.
So she goes, earn the bullet. So I went in and I did the scene again with a much different performance. And although I'd like to see the first performance, because did you say the director was like, she's watching it, she's like, you know,
that says a lot right there.
So you got to be a professional person. I don't know how we got on this subject, and you got to be able to understand what your purpose is in the thing.
I gotta say, I've been lucky where most of the sets I've been on have been these tight knit, really great community type of things where, you know, you finish the project and you're like, dude, let's go do something else together. You know, and I've yet to see those type of actors that do all that stuff, and I'm happy that I haven't seen them.
Yeah, no, it's good. Keep it that way. Mm-hmm. You know, my muse is Marcia Dietline, and she's in a number of Ed Burns movies. Not me. Ed. Not me, Ed. Even though we work together on a little show called Mob City, but you don't call me Ed. I'm not bitter. Anyway, Marsha works on those movies, and she says they're just like that. They just love hanging out together.
Yeah, I feel like those are the best sets because you can feel it in the project as well.
Yeah.
You know, when all that stuff comes together, it just gives the project an oomph. You know,
Very much so.
You gotta love it, dude. How did you end up all these Christmas projects like back to back to back to back? Because I know a lot of the stuff you tend to pick yourself, but this feels like happenstance.
Yeah, there was God is good. That's how it happened. So, years ago, I knew 2 years before we shot Terrifier 3 that I was going to play Santa Claus in it.
Right.
And, you know, that came about kind of from begging. You know, they announced Terrifier 3.
Sometimes you chase a role, yeah.
Yeah, and I think I literally said to my friend Mike Levy, who's the producer, I go, who am I playing? Who am I playing? And he said, actually, Damien wants to talk to you. He has a great part for you. And when he said Santa Claus, I was like, oh, God, yes, please. Oh, please, yes. Oh, please, yes. So I knew I was doing that.
Right.
Then a year later, Spencer Fulmer came to me with this story. And, you know, we ended up writing the script together.
Right.
And then at the last moment, after all that stuff happened with the miracle of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania,
right?
Like I had an epiphany, and I said, if we move this story to Bethlehem, we're going to get a lot of help making it.
Exactly.
That's exactly what happened. So the script was not completely done. So, you know, it was like that scene will be at the Hotel Bethlehem, and that scene will be there, and that scene will be there, and then that's how it ended up being perfect.
I'm a big Scrooge buff, and I see you're doing Scrooge, and you know, I have to ask right away, which one is your favorite Scrooge?
Yeah, now that's a great question because, like you, I've seen them all, and I love them all. But if my Scrooge was influenced by anyone in particular, it would be Albert Finney in Scrooge. So, and I mean, Albert Finney is amazing.
Yeah.
But I would say I've taken the best of Albert Finney, the best of Tony Randall, and the best of Jonathan Harris. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear boy. And I think I've combined them all into a very entertaining Scrooge.
Oh, I love it.
It's an adaptation that I'm one of the two authors of,
right.
And it is filled with humor.
I'm happy you said Tony Randall because I feel people forget him. And he did a great Scrooge.
Now, I've never seen Tony Randall's Scrooge, actually, but Tony Randall's my favorite actor. And to the point that on the movies I make that I direct by myself, in the end credits, it always says the greatest actor who ever lived, Tony Randall. That's what comes up after all the other actors. So nobody gets a big hit. But Tony Randall was,
amazing. Yeah.
Amazing. Godly.
Oh my God. I miss him still.
I miss him so much. I was working on a set the day I found out he passed, and we actually had a minute of silence for him, which I've never done on any other set at any other time. It's never come up before. But it came up that, yeah. So, all actors steal from other actors.
They do. That's just
and they all admit it. Brando admits that he was stealing.
Mm-hmm.
We all steal from other actors. And, and if you go back long enough, one of us is probably stealing from someone who stole from someone who stole from someone who stole from John Wilkes Booth.
Oh, dude, And it's funny that you say that because, I explain to people all the time because, my openings, they're all based on, Casey Kasem and Wolfman Jack and Howard Cosell, and
wait, those are you. By the way, you just named two people who starred on Odd Couple episodes.
Wolfman.
You know that? I'm surprised.
I watched Odd Couple a lot.
But Cosell did, and Wolfman Jack. Remember, Tony Jack. Tony's like, "Hey man, I've got a hey." Or no, Jack Klugman does it. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
But Tony Randall tries it first. This is And
Yeah.
says, "This is how you do it."
I've loved Wolfman Jack. And that voice of his, and it was so iconic. And he was Wolfman Jack here. Oh,
Clap for the Wolfman.
exactly.
And then when we got to see him in, we actually got to see him in American Graffiti. What a great time to be alive. How old are you, Ralph?
I am 53, I think.
Oh, you're a little. That's interesting. You're half a generation younger than me. So
That's why we hit, because we have a lot of the
right
same
in the
things.
middle.
Yeah.
But like, you didn't get to see American Graffiti in a movie theater.
No, when I saw it, it was already on TV.
Yeah, and you wouldn't have even seen Star Wars when it came out.
I saw Star Wars in the theaters, but I don't think I saw the first one or the second one. I think I saw the third one.
Third one when you were 6 or 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good with math. Yeah. And I'm sorry. What are you saying, girl? Who's not on camera?
Age, and I saw it in theaters.
You didn't see Star Wars.
Yes.
Well, you saw a re-release. You didn't see it when it came out.
I saw it.
You would have been 6.
Yeah.
Well, you got to remember, a lot of people took their kids during that time period. When you saw those lines, all you had was all these kids.
She didn't see Star Wars. You couldn't remember what you saw when you were 6, Tammy.
Speaking of Matlock, because I know I know you mentioned it. What do you think about the new show?
Well, now, okay, number one, I've worked with Kathy Bates in a little movie called The Late Shift, which I played Jay Leno, and she played my manager. Kathy's perfect. I haven't seen it because I've literally been working.
I haven't had a chance to see it either, because I was a big Matlock fan. So, I loved watching it, and especially when it was in reruns, because that was one of those relaxing things where you're home, you had nothing to do.
Yeah, put on Matlock. What I like, people go, you know what I like about Matlock? There's no violence in it, and I'm always like, except for the murder that starts every episode. There's no violence, but
I think a lot of it because you didn't really see anything.
No, you didn't. Every time they give me an award, when you're an actor, you get a lot of awards. You get I'm the Lifetime Achievement Award, or an award from the city council for whatever. But exactly. The awards are always like some big crystal thing, and I always say, if this were Matlock, this would be the murder weapon. So, how great is it that I was smart enough, as if I had any choice in the matter, that I got to be on the show with the actual American icon. Now, look, I don't want people to write letters. Dick Van Dyke is an American icon.
He is.
But the Dick Van Dyke Show, as great as it is, was not the show that appealed to every household in America, because Dick Van Dyke lived an exciting life of a TV writer with crazy people all around. And Andy Griffith lived in a little town, kind of like where I am here, Mount Airy.
Yep.
And everybody thought it would be, with all the turmoil going on in the country in the 60s, that I don't remember because I was 6. But all that stuff, like, people wanted to escape from it, so they found it. So, Diagnosis Murder was a great show, but it does not have the staying power of Matlock. And even Jessica Fletcher, which has been around longer than any of them, has also not had the staying power. Why is Matlock on all the time? Because Andy Griffith is an American icon. So
and I gotta say, you're right, because you just love watching Andy do his thing.
You loved how he parented. You loved how he dated. You loved how he made sure Aunt B's feelings were never hurt. And you thought, I wanna be that guy. You couldn't be Dick Van Dyke because you couldn't write comedy and Rob, that wasn't familiar. If my mother was speaking to my father when he was doing something she didn't like, She didn't say, "Oh, John." She said, "What the hell's the matter with you?"
Yeah.
That's what my mother said. So, like, I always think, if we were our family, to bring it full circle, if we were like any TV family, I promise you it wasn't Father Knows Best, nor was it the Andy Griffith Show. It was the Munsters. We were the weird, crazy,
Yeah.
embarrassed by your father. You were
Same here.
Yeah. That's who we were.
Yeah.
That's what I was.
I think that's why I like the Munsters so much and the Addams Family.
Right. And see, now what, like, the difference is you look at them both, they're both great actors in both of them. Great directors, great writing in both of them. Why did the Munsters kind of rise to everyman status? Because we were all Eddie Munster, us kids.
Exactly.
We were embarrassed by our parents. We felt out of place. We weren't rich enough. Now, the Addams Family was a different thing because their thing was never, they were millionaires by all accounts.
Exactly.
But Herman Munster had to go work for a living.
Yep. He went
And
to
it
do
was
his 9 to
about
5.
working and taking care of the family, just like my dad did when I was a little boy. My mom eventually worked. But, my point being, it was more like our lives than the Addams Family. And so,
I gotta say, some of my favorite things is some of the Herman Munster speeches. Because he hits, man. And whoever was writing that thing just knew how to hit it. I'm surprised he didn't get it. I'm surprised they didn't get in trouble more than they did.
Well, the TV writers back then, they were a little like, by the time we got to HR Puffin stuff, and those guys swear to God on the Torah that they were not making drug humor television.
Nobody believes them.
But the writers of the Andy Griffith Show and the Munsters, those guys were trying their best to appeal to the common man.
Yeah.
Now, why, I knew Fred and I knew Al. I knew Fred a little better, but I knew Al too, and I know a lot about that show because I read everything. They hated that it was the same jokes all the time. They wanted it to be more about the family interaction.
Exactly.
And of the two of them, Al really had the more normal family. He was more the guy who went home. Fred was a very well-educated, Harvard-educated, probably thought.
Which is so funny because people don't see him that way, but that's what he was.
Right, which is probably the reason that he, if I can't speak for him, but knowing him, he was very erudite and felt certainly that Herman was not. Yet, what Fred did as Herman, in lesser hands, we wouldn't be talking about it.
That's true.
In lesser hands, we wouldn't have remade it. And we weren't the first to remake it.
You can see that from the remakes.
Yeah.
Exactly what you're talking about. You can see it from the remakes because the remakes didn't last.
Yeah, the remakes didn't last. And, John Schuck's a great actor, but, whoever made the decision to make, well, I'm Herman Munster. Like, don't blame John Schuck. Don't blame Lee Merriweather. Really, nobody on that show. Howard Morton, they were all great actors.
Mm-hmm.
And just like in the, there was the Here Come the Munsters with Ed Herman and Veronica Hamill, and even the Munster Scary Christmas. I actually auditioned for Herman in that, and Sam McMurray.
That would have been interesting.
Sam McMurray's great. So, I'm lucky, and I got to do it with Jeff Daniel Phillips, and Jeff Daniel Phillips is great actor.
So wait, since we do a lot of geek stuff here, you're always busy. So do you get to hit the conventions at all?
Well, we do, and especially obviously in the fall.
Right.
But we have a couple set up for next year. I'll tell you, I like them, and we were talking right before we started about that conversation across the table.
Yeah.
What I try to do if you come to a convention, if I can pull it off, I try to take that table out from between us. I try to come around to the side of the table and lean and talk because I want people. Look, when I was a kid, I got to go. The Roy Raiden Vaudeville Review came through Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and I would go see Jackie Vernon and George Jessel and Frank Gorshin and Milton Berle headlining this, right? And then they had the Harmonica Rascals and this. Well, one year come through John Carradine. John Carradine. He's in The Invisible Man. He's in The Bride of Frankenstein. He's in House of Dracula, House of Frankenstein. John Carradine. So he comes through, and because my dad, it was a fraternal order of police, and my dad, I got to always go backstage. And there was no other kid back there hanging around like I was. And I was able to sit with John Carradine for a half hour while he played solitaire. And he said, "You can ask me any question you'd like." And I was like, first, what color was Frankenstein? He was not green. He was grayish blue. Like, I'm getting the real, because there was nothing between us.
Exactly. It's an actual conversation.
I actually got to have a conversation. Well, who would have thought I'd become John Carradine? Dude, they said that he had been in 500 productions between movies, television, and theater.
Yeah.
And I thought, impossible. Well, I can tell you, I've been in over 500 productions.
I was about to say, your credentials kind of like speak for
But you know what I mean? How is it even possible? But God is good to me. God is good to me. I'm doing exactly what I want to do, exactly what I've always wanted to do, which is why.
And I love why you put, exactly. I love what you did with this movie. It really feels like old-fashioned cinema.
Yes, we slow it down. I don't edit quickly. I let jokes land. Your audience may or may not know this, and I want to tell you about this phenomena that we never had before. Because in the old days, movie reviewers were movie reviewers. I don't know that they were trained for it, theater reviewers, whatever, but they did it, right? Yeah. So I make a movie, and I know if that movie has God, or in that trailer you see two people sitting in church pews, right? So that triggers some idiot. So when you go to the Fandango reviews, it is this movie this movie is perfect. This movie is an old-fashioned. This movie every family should see. This movie will change your life. Right in the middle of it, this is the worst movie I've ever seen. The acting, the sets, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania is the set.
The set, yeah.
The acting, the sets, and I think they said the music are terrible. It's worse than a high school production. Now, what is that? That's a human being who gets up, who is working so in concert with the devil,
right, that
they will crap on anything. I promise you, the person hasn't seen the movie, because
probably not.
I can tell you, even if you hate my acting, you couldn't say anything bad about Kathy Moriarty's acting, or Dwayne Whitaker's, or the score by Alex Kovacs, or the setting of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. So obviously, we have people now whose sole purpose is to be the enemy of art.
Yeah. But it's not even art. I find, and I run into this all the time now, is that they're making content. It has nothing to do with whatever. They could like the movie. They'll still say they hated it.
1,000%. We saw this with the Munsters. Poor Rob Zombie. I mean, I felt so bad for him, because this is like, we've watched the Munsters and this is the picture, right? Because if they say it's crap, more people will listen to their stupid thing than if they say they liked it.
And they liked it, yeah.
Well, we're in trouble, brother.
Yeah.
We're in trouble if this is the society we live in. If the society we live in is based on you being able to crap on someone's hard work just so you can move forward in life.
Dude, I all the time I get these people. They go, Ralph, your show's not going to go anywhere because you're having these people on, you're gushing over their stuff, you're you know, and I'm like, yeah, because I like their stuff. I pick the people on my show because I want them to be on my show. I like what they're doing. I'm passionate about what they're doing. You know, I'm not picking somebody and go, I didn't like what you did. No.
well, you wouldn't. I mean, if you said, Dan, I didn't really care for this movie, I'd have a dialogue with you. I wouldn't
Exactly.
say.
We discuss
I
it.
mean,
Yeah.
I'd ultimately say you're wrong because, but you know, like don't take what I say for it. Obviously, I'm a guy.
Exactly.
I can't argue on my own, but you know, if people are going to see your movie 3 times, it's not a high school film.
That's why I like when LeVar Burton would do Reading Rainbow, and he go, but you don't have to take my word for it. Go watch it or read it yourself.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what you should do. You know, don't listen to people. Don't let them decide for you what your thoughts are. You know, that's a bad place to be. That is a bad place to be.
Forgive me, my wife doesn't understand. No, would you turn the fire off? How do you not understand that this is fire and this is off? We've got this. Where is it? It's got to be up there somewhere. It's you know, they're trying to kill us here. There's this fireplace. It's not really a fireplace.
I know it's one of those heating things. Yeah.
It's blowing heat, and it's hot. And I don't like to be hot because I'm a big guy.
Same thing. I'm a big guy. I don't like being hot.
I like being hot. I hate it.
Sweating. Oh.
I put the heat on I put the cool on 65 when I sleep, and it's my new joy is waking up in the morning, and in my house, even in California in the winter, my house is 50 degrees. That's a good time for me where I can just put on my bathrobe, have a cup of coffee, and go outside, and it's warmer outside than it is in the house. I like that. I'm sorry, we're not talking about stuff enough. What do people do?
No. People like all this stuff. This is why the show does well. Is because we actually geek out and we talk about stuff that has nothing to do with anything. Like we started talking Star Wars.
Yeah, I know we weren't. Well, you know, I am in Star Wars. I'm Grease-dritis in Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor. So I actually got to go into the Skywalker storyline.
Ooh.
Because
that must be like
I saw the movie in the theater when I was 13, and that is why I've been awarded such an honor.
You gotta love
it. At Christmas. You've
had a great career, and I want to see more from you because you know this Christmas movie looks really good. Are you guys gonna be doing more independent movies?
Yes. So I'd invite people to see Getting Grace. It's the first one I made. Mm-hmm. It's lovely. It stars a wonderful actress named Marsha D. Line and Madeline Dundon. And that's about a teenage girl who's suffering from cancer. She goes into a funeral home to find out what's going to happen after she dies, but she ends up teaching the funeral director how to celebrate life. So it's really a lovely movie. It's done very well. People really have taken to it. Second movie we did, I wrote and directed with a very talented young lady who's also beautiful. Her name is Grace Roebuck. I know that sounds like she might be my daughter. Oh, wait, she is. She's brilliant, and I'm proud of her. And she's my daughter. We made that's like a faith-based mystery. It's about this old retired cop could never solve a bank robbery. So he teams up with his Bible study, which are 4 ex-convicts he arrested and rehabilitated. And together they're going to try to figure out who robbed the bank. Well, the guy goes into the hospital and the bank robber I play says, well, why don't we just rob the bank again? And then we know how they did it. And so the whole town's in on it. We go to the bank and we arrange to rob the bank again. And the whole town's in on it.
I love it. Oh, wow.
And then that's out now. Both those movies you could find on Amazon. You know, you could rent them, or probably Apple TV. You could find them on Up Faith and Family. And then the next movie coming out this year is called The Hail Mary. And that's about a guy desperately in need of redemption. And luckily for him, this nun cons him into creating a football team for her all-boys Catholic school to lead him back to the life that he deserves and requires. And
These are like classic storytelling. It's the stuff we don't see anymore. Yeah.
yeah, they're not. It's look, respectfully to like the good people at Amazon. I had an inclination when we decided we were going to put out Saint Nick this year.
Right.
I had an inclination just watching the trailer with great actors like The Rock and Chris Evans, and who's the guy that plays Santa?
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons.
Oh, you gotta love J.K.
No, these are great entertainers.
Exactly.
I like these guys. I love Chris Evans as Captain America. I love it. But this thing that they made, Santa Claus gets kidnapped, and his chief elf is The Rock, and and none of it seemed to have a heart necessary for old-fashioned storytelling.
Right.
And what I thought might happen did happen, and people didn't connect with it. Obviously, it was made for a Marvel generation of kids, but
exactly.
I don't know that they even connected to it. But you can't get a parent to sit and watch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a Scooby-Doo movie. You can't. How do you get the parents?
Yeah, it looks fun. It looks like superhero stuff.
Yeah,
that's the problem. It looks like superhero stuff.
And I'm sure it's a great movie. And again,
exactly.
Any filmmaker works hard to make the movie. Exactly. I'm not bashing anybody. I'm just saying that was a Hollywood version of a Christmas movie. I made an independent version of a Christmas movie.
Exactly.
That doesn't belong on a Disney Channel, and it doesn't belong on the Hallmark Channel, but I would love to see it on TBS for the next 40 years. That would be my greatest smile.
That's a good wish right there.
Yeah.
That's a good wish right there. So if the people, they want to go find you, they want to go find what you're doing, especially the stuff that you're doing recently, where can they go find you?
Oh, yes, please. I'm on Instagram as Mr. Daniel Roebuck, on Facebook as Daniel Roebuck. I'm trying to be better with Instagram. When we did the Munsters, Robin, Sherry, and Jeff, they're like, you got to do Instagram. Trying to do it.
Yeah, because that's how it is now. It's all about it's all about socials.
Socials, right?
Yeah.
So, but most easily, yes, please follow me on Facebook. You can go to your grandfather's Facebook page and look me up. Is that what? Let me see. Is that
that's the Instagram? Yeah.
Oh, that's my Instagram. Thank you.
I find for some reason all the creatives and the indies and artists, they like Instagram.
Yeah, because they're young. I like it. So Instagram. There's a nice movie we have coming. Well, yeah, that's some of the kids from Christmas Carol. It's fun in Christmas Carol. I start the show as that, but I transform into Scrooge on stage. I
gotta say, even right here, you look like a whole totally different person. I love that about you.
Yeah,
you see these actors now, and they seem to be playing the same person in all their roles. I like when the actor actually changes with their role.
Yeah, and I recognize look, there's a guy like George Clooney as a movie star.
Yeah.
But George Clooney can't do what I do. He couldn't. I respectfully, he couldn't have played Grandpa Munster. He couldn't have played Gary Marshall. He couldn't have played Jay Leno. He couldn't. I don't know that his Scrooge would be like mine, because unless he tapped into the Tony Randalls and the Jonathan Harrisons and the Albert Finneys, and I've not seen anything in which he stretched himself like that. But I've been stretching myself like that since the very first time I went into the theater. I was taught to glue on a rubber nose and a fake mustache. And, that's my go-to. I'm like, Orson Welles, he never did a movie where he wasn't wearing a rubber nose.
That's true.
The ones he did. But nobody realizes that. He had a rubber nose on in everything. He just liked wearing rubber noses.
Well, when you like it, you like it. You do it. You do it.
You like it, you like it.
Exactly.
This guy, I played Grandpa Munster, height of COVID. And Universal Studios was like, well, since you can't wear the mask because of the makeup, you're going to wear a collar that has a plastic face shield. And I was like, no, I'm not. I said, no, I'm not. I'm not doing that.
I was going to say, is there a picture of you? Because that probably would have been cool.
I would, yeah. I said, I'm not. I'm wearing a rubber nose. I'm not wearing a rubber nose and a plastic mask.
No, that's not going to work because the nose is going to fall off.
Yeah, it's just dumb.
I got to say, you do a great job at hinting at Grandpa, but at the same time making it your own role.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was really. Let me see if I'm probably doing it here. If you can see my feet, you'll note that my feet are turned out.
Yeah, I see them. Yeah,
that's because every time I stop moving, now look, that's me at 13.
That's cool.
I was a clown in a circus, and look at that. Go those back and forth again.
See, again, you're kind of lost in this role. Like if you didn't know it was you, you'd be like, "Who's this?"
Oh, that was so much fun.
Oh my God! It looks like it
was like as we're talking about. So this was the last day of filming, and we're at the castle of in this moment I can't remember the name, but does it say it there? Dracula.
It says, yeah, Bram Stoker's
Dracula Day. So this is this castle in the middle of Budapest. That's not really old. It was built 100 years ago for tourists, but somebody snuck into an alcove a plaster Bela Lugosi.
Nice.
Like someone really snuck in there.
I love it.
Put the Bela Lugosi up there. So that was the last day of filming. Rob and I ran over there so we could see the Bela Lugosi.
Oh, fantastic, dude! I love the. Oh, speaking of stuff, there you go.
Yeah,
I gotta say, I love the fact that you actually have fun in this. I feel like a lot of other people have just lost the fun of it, the excitement,
That's depressing.
Yeah.
If I never made $1 again, I hate to say it. I hope nobody who might pay me is listening. I would do it for free. But I'm very well paid. No, I just love it. Tammy and I talk about it all the time. We make no money on the movies, but I make the movies. Like
exactly.
there are not tombstones. What would you call it? Yeah, like when I'm gone, what's left?
Exactly.
If you want to know what I think, how I loved, how I
check out the movies. Exactly.
I believed, watch my movies, and there'll be no confusion as to what was in my heart. I can live forever. Not in other people's movies. Also, that's a blessing that I can portray other characters. But in my movies, the characters are my voice, and this is why when movies portray, it's why I'm uncomfortable that there's a child molestation joke in virtually every Woody Allen movie.
Yeah,
and
then you start to wonder, hey, wait.
No, you start to wonder in every Woody Allen movie, in every Dan Roebuck movie, somebody solves a problem by relating to God, or they're eating a chili cheese dog, or they're drinking chocolate milk, or I can think of 1,000 things they're doing that Dan Roebuck does in life. And even if the characters aren't the man or the woman, they're whomever. So it makes me wonder how one guy in like 15 movies in a row put a child molesting joke in it, and that guy is accused of child molesting.
Exactly.
Something's
happening.
Weird.
It is completely is. Oh, and this Saturday you're gonna be Svengoling it up, aren't you?
I'm Santa on Svengoolie. Please watch it. They're showing a great movie. They're showing the Claude Rains Phantom of the Opera, so that's a Universal monster.
Oh, so you got a double whammy there, because we were talking about off the in the green room where sometimes you're like, I don't know if I like that movie, but this time there's no excuse. There's
right. Well, we were saying how when we were kids, when Dr. Shock was on in Pennsylvania, the Five Skulls of Jonathan Drake. I've never heard of it. Who cares?
Exactly.
Dr. Shock be showing it? Is he going to do a magic trick? Maybe
He's
bubbles.
going to make it his jokes.
Yeah, is he going to make his jokes? So, you didn't care, but now that's what we're saying. How some people may miss his Svengoolie because they don't care for the movie, but that's not how we did it in the past.
But Svengoolie is funny no matter what. So you folks need to.
You got to watch it. And by the way, there's not a greater guy. He's
fantastic.
I don't want to say his real name. I don't know if we're allowed, but I guess his real name is Rich Coase. He's a great human being. And I would say, Conscience, I'm bringing you in again.
Okay.
Was that one of the best times ever?
Yes.
Going to shoot that.
I got to hurl the rubber chickens out.
I love it.
Rubber chickens.
So that's when I'm watching. I'm like, see, that's Tammy doing that.
That's Tammy, yeah. Yeah, that's Tammy's throw. It's we lead a very exciting life here where my wife's greatest achievement is hurling rubber chickens. Honey, you've done one or two other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She goes, yeah.
Listen, I highly recommend this. If you're a dude who's not so smart, get a Tammy.
Yeah.
Get one. People say, how did you make 5 movies in 6 years? I say, get a Tammy. You don't have a Tammy? You're not going to be able to do it. It's not going to happen. Just so you know.
You got a good partner.
In our relationship, I'm the thinker-upper. You're the writer-downer. When I think it up, write it down, and then it'll be great forever.
That's a good combination because sometimes you need somebody to write it down.
Sometimes you need somebody to write it down.
Yeah.
So that's our deal. But
marrying a film editor helps.
Yeah. My other editor, a great editor named David Hansen Sturm, my editor of multiple projects. When I told him about how I met this editor, he was like, they edit and then they turn. He's like, she's an editor? What does she edit? Oh, just like you, Dave. She edits anything. Oh, she does. Just like, so he knew that why would I pay an editor if I was dating one?
That's what you do. That's teamwork, man. You bring your team together. You figure it out.
You're like, I like that you're like Fang, Phyllis Diller's husband. Like no one sees you. My wife is
here goes the hand. Oh, there we go.
My wife is she's 6'7", and she's got like a werewolf face. And my wife is beautiful. I'm married well above my class. But that's her problem, not mine.
That's what we got to do, folks. Come on.
We got to do it.
All right. So, folks, you guys really got to check this out. I'm going to show the trailer one more time so that you guys can, go and see.
Well, actually, can I suggest something?
Go
do you
for
mind? Show them the trailer for, what do you think, Getting Grace?
Oh, if you could find it. I didn't send him.
No, but could you just look in the international net of intrigue into the intranet? If you type in Getting Grace trailer, it should come up on Fandango.
Right. Here we go. Googly. Great googly moogly. Here we go. Say that again.
No, I was just saying, show them Getting Grace because very proud of this. If that's possible to do.
Well, if you have it on your computer, the trailer, you can actually there's a little button on the bottom over there that says present.
I don't have it.
We would just have to go to. I mean, can you not go from Google? Is that not possible?
Oh no, I'm looking at it now. It's just gonna take me a little bit. It's like an '80s movie when they're looking at the computer and they have to talk while they were doing it because that's how it was.
Well, so
here it goes. Hold on. Let's see. Are you playing? Or are you doing a commercial first? What are we doing?
Oh, the commercials are the devil.
I think that is this the commercial? Hold on. No, it looks like it's the trailer. All right. Let's share this tab instead. Go like this. And share this. Here we go.
Yeah, there you go.
And now to play. Of course, you lose the tab as soon as there it goes.
Why is it so hard?
It's there we go. All right, here we go.
Grace has always had a strange way of doing things.
She's a funny kid. It's extraordinary to see how her mind works. She's dealing with this better than most people at her advanced stage.
Fascinating occupation.
This is my business. I don't have time for your pranks.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to call the police.
Hello, police. I'm being held hostage in my beautiful funeral home by a bald, sickly-looking teenage girl. Can I ride in the hearse?
Wait your turn.
She is delightful.
Yeah, she's a barrel of laughs, every one of them inappropriate.
Where you going, Welcha?
I'm not going to fall for your tricks.
It's just normalcy, Bill. Don't be afraid of being normal.
But look who's talking.
I want to believe because I believe, not because I'm afraid of dying. Teach me.
Ben spoons or to believe?
It's the dying that really is easy. How am I doing? You don't choose to die. It just happens when it happens. But living right takes fighting and commitment and honor and all those things that are so hard for so many humans.
I'm not strong. Not like you.
What are you afraid of, Bill? Me! Well, you'll be glad to know this only convenience will soon pass.
This is my better life, my happy ever after. This is how I'll survive, my miracle, my answer. I'm finding myself, changing who I am.
No, I gotta go. I promise.
And then what? What do I do when you're gone?
I think some people get grace, and others never will.
So when I get to the other side, do you want me to contact you?
How about we not get ahead of ourselves? How about we start with the other side of the table, see how that goes?
I can see where you wanted me to show that. That was really nice. And I had seen the trailer before.
Oh, yeah, and it's a nice movie. I mean, it's on Tubi, it's on Freebie, it's on YouTube. But you know, and honestly, we've lost track. You know, we've been ripped off so often on this movie. But watch it. You know, rent it for $3.99 on Amazon, and watch it without commercial interruptions. It's really something. And that young lady, I pulled her out of high school, started her in a movie. She went off to college. I pulled her out of college and started her in Lucky Louie. So she even
I really did enjoy looking from the trailer, at least, her acting in it, because it comes off as those types of characters that I tend to like, the ones that somehow have a little bit more knowledge and at the same time like a little bit mischievous, you know.
Yes, you're very good. That's very, very smart of you. That's exactly. She is. My daughter was never sick, but my daughter is Grace. And that story in the movie, so, you know, it's in the movie briefly, you know, when Grace was, I think, 5th or 6th grade, she was taught by a woman and a man, Catholic school. They would, you know, this guy would teach the morning, she would teach the afternoon or whatever. I don't really know. I didn't go to school with her. But we went to see the parent teacher, and the woman was like, Grace, she's very difficult. You know, she's always talking. She's always making jokes. She's always off topic. She's very difficult to teach. And in the walk from there to the, you know, my wife and I decided, we were like, I'll hold her down. You punch her. We were trying to figure out who got to hit her first. Right. We were so humiliated. And we went across the hall, and the male teacher said, oh, Grace, oh, she's always talking. She's always off topic. She's always making jokes. I love having her in my class.
Aww.
And we're driving home, and my former wife literally says the words, some people are going to get Grace and others never will.
There we go.
With no idea how profound that was on a larger, greater scale. So when that script came to me and the writer and I did a massive rewrite on it, it was called Bending Spoons, but I inserted that story and realized that's the name of the movie is Getting Grace.
I think it makes more sense as Getting Grace.
Yeah.
Because it works in so many different levels.
And my daughter is an old soul, hyper intelligent, reads all the time. If there were talks about kidnapping people by getting a van and pumping tapioca, the smell of tapioca out. When they come close, she'd kidnap them and they'd be her grandmother forever. Like, that's how my daughter thinks. So when this girl presented herself, and I was like, that's my daughter. That's a brunette version of my nutty kid. And now my nutty kid and I, we work together, we write together. Oh, that's
the beautiful stuff. Yeah. That's when you know you leveled up.
Yeah, and so my daughter, just to say one more thing about, because my son that was my son you see as a younger version of me in the movie. He's a great boy, Buster. My daughter, because we work together more, I wrote her like 3-4 weeks ago, and I said, I just want you to know I just love you and miss you so much. And she texted back, why are you so obsessed with me?
That's fantastic. That's great. I love that. Oh, that's wit, man.
That's wit. She should be a little wit out.
Exactly.
But I wouldn't. I don't know what I'd do without her.
Folks, he's doing some great movies. Go check them out. Do yourself a favor. Go on Amazon. Rent some nice movies that get your heart going, get you thinking, get you feeling.
Thank you. And go to achannelofpeace.org, please, if you want to help us make faith-based family entertainment.
Also, so people can actually help you guys do this stuff.
Yes, and we need it. Or you can just watch Terrifier 3 again and see the crazy clown rip my beard off. But people do enjoy that too.
Well, that's why you give a little bit to everybody, because all your roles are in so many different places that people go, well, I want this Daniel right now, or I want this Daniel.
It's true.
That's when you know you have had a good career.
Well, I've been very lucky. I've had a very blessed career. I have no intention of stopping, despite all the threats that I get that I should do it. To your audience, thank you for listening, and I hope and pray that you all have a very blessed, happy Christmas.
Folks, I hope you guys have enjoyed the show. Or just to let you know a little bit, because our Christmas picks, of course, were the beautiful the Story Engine deck, which is a deck that helps you write stories.
Oh.
You pull the cards out, and it helps you create the stories. If you're a dungeon master, it helps you create dungeon master stories where you can actually get your people into these stories that you've created with the decks. I love these decks as a writer. I love them because sometimes you get stuck, and pulling these cards out to help you. I have a lore deck now, and I have the regular deck. So the lore deck actually helps you figure out the lore of your universe.
Oh.
And then the other deck helps you create the story that you want to write. So I just love. Sometimes you need a little help. As writers, we get stuck.
I'll tell you when you always get stuck. Every writer who listens, don't you always get stuck on the names of your characters?
Uh-huh.
That's why I keep my yearbooks handy.
That's a good place to go. Yeah.
I always name people after people I went to school with. Always.
That is a really good place to go, actually.
And there's always a character in everything I've ever written named Mrs. D'Ambrosio or with the last name D'Ambrosio, and that's because that was an English teacher or a teacher, 7th grade teacher, who was phenomenal. And so my blessing back to her is to put her in every story.
That's what I love. As a writer, that's exactly what I do. That's what I tell people all the time. Be careful when you piss off the writer, because the writer will kill you off many times.
Yeah, the story. That's interesting. All right, I'm going to look at
the engine deck right here. Yeah, folks, if you get a chance, it's Christmas. Buy this for your favorite writer.
Yeah, that's it. Look, a limited time. Buy one, get one free.
Yep. Buy one gift card, get one free. Yep. So you can actually give a gift card and give it to the person for Christmas. And then you go, look, I'm a game master. I'm a writer. Dude, these cards are just fantastic. If you like writing, I love word prompts. I do them all the time. And this is a good place to get it done. And this is a great gift for a writer. The writers in your lives. Sometimes people go, I don't know what to give the writer. But here you go, folks. You should go check this out.
Yeah, that looks like something really, really cool. So buy those and then get your yearbook. And then go write something. Here's the greatest gift we can give any writer. And this is the genius of my daughter. Give yourself the gift of writing every day.
Exactly.
Give yourself 15 minutes every single day to write. Day in and day out. Every day, don't take a day off.
See? And that's the advice that I usually give. Then somebody goes, you're gatekeeping. I'm like, no, dude. In order to write, you have to write. It's simple as that.
What is that? You're gatekeeping? What does that mean?
They think that the answer I'm giving, because I tell when people ask me, right, Ralph, I want to be a writer. What do? I say, you write. You got to write. If you don't write, you can't become a writer. What's this thing you're trying to do, dude? You got to write.
Give me a break. Stop being so goddamn sensitive. If you're a writer, you write. Nobody.
Exactly.
Yeah, just stop it now.
You know what it is? A lot of people just want the easy way, and there has to be an easier way, Ralph. No, you got to write.
No, there's no easy way. And you know what else you got to do? You got to read. You got to read great writers.
Read all these books, folks. Especially there's books out there that are going to disappear. Go read them. Folks, this is Cupid's Farewell Christmas. If you like Santa Claus, this is an adult Christmas story. So, you guys have to check this out. He will be on the show on Monday talking all about Cupid's Farewell Christmas and Miss Claus Tells All. These are fantastic books. I really love what he's done with this. And I'm telling you, this is your Santa a little spicier.
I may not be old enough to read these.
Don't worry, he's not that spicy.
I don't want to have to get one more confession in before the big day.
Nah, this isn't that bad.
I'm sure it's great, obviously.
It's an adult Christmas story, folks. It's a lot of fun. It's just I guess if we're gonna look at it's the kind of Santa that we saw in Red 1, probably.
Well, regardless, look, somebody wrote it.
Exactly.
And somebody worked on it. And I can tell you he wrote it because he wrote it every day.
Dude, and this guy, he does a great job. Him and his partner have been making these books. They're great. Go check them out. It's beautiful. Go check it out.
I may try to tune in if I'm allowed, if I'm up. So watch Svengoolie Saturday. I know we've gone way over our time. I had a great time here. Thank you.
Don't worry about it. Like I said, and I know when we're geeking out when we go over our time.
All right. Take care, my friend.
All right, so folks, what I'll do is what I always do. I'll press the button, and where it stops,